Let's listen.
And you have been charged with aggravated assault against a public servant. I'm denying your bond on both charges. You have the right to retain counsel. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney present during interviews with peace officers or attorneys representing the state. You have the right to terminate that interview at any time. You have the right to request appointment of counsel if you're indigent and cannot afford counsel. You have the right to an examining trial. You are not required to make a statement. Any statement made by you may be used against you. Are you a citizen of the United States? Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Are you requesting consideration for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
Are you out on bond for any other charge?
No, sir.
I'm going to ask you to sign the front page, which is just acknowledging that I read you your rights this afternoon. You're not entering a plea today. Thanks. I'm going to have you sign a second time requesting consideration to be appointed a court-appointed attorney, and a third time saying that you'll keep your appointments and tell us if you change your address or phone number.
Just a little bit.
One more time right here, please, saying that you're requesting that court-appointed attorney. Does he need to look on the application now, or they want to wait on that?
Let's get over to the left.
Judge.
I'm sorry?
To the next window.
To the next
Oh,
one.
to the next window. Do I need to do it over again? Do I need to do it over again?
Okay. Fine.
All right, you have any questions? All right, we are finished. They're going to work on the application a little bit later. All right, thank you.
And now they're leading him away as we watch that, taking the court-appointed attorney. What's your reaction to that, Juliet? Obviously, he was there with his handcuffs on.
So the, sort of justice sort of plays itself out here. I mean, in other words, he's going to face capital crimes. This is going to be a state case. I don't see any reason why there would also be federal charges at this stage unless we learn something about motivation, which would make it a federal crime. But I think that this will be a state case. And depending on if he's talking or not, we understood that he was talking earlier, find out more about motivation. I think that's clear here, both motivation and then, of course, is there a conspiracy? Are there others? You need to make sure this community continues to be safe. There are explosives around that we can't seem to account for right now. And so it's just ensuring that this day is over. Art?
Yeah, I mean, that just seemed to me be like a standard initial appearance. His rights were read to him. He answered a couple questions. They established identity. That's part of all the initial appearance. And he was denied bail based on not only the homicides, but also the assault on the two resource officers, which are public officials. So this is what we see in any crime like this. I think from this point on, we just move on from here, and hopefully law enforcement was able to get some information on the initial debrief they had with him.
Right. And of course, Juliet, they're in a race right now because they don't know how many of these explosive devices there are. They don't know where they are. They don't know if anyone else was involved. Right. So as you point out, still concerned about whether there could be any more risk. But what do you say about the fact that there were so many? And obviously none of them went off. Right, right. Whether he was intending them to later. I mean, it's unclear at this point whether that was 100% a failure or not. But they didn't explode while he was putting them together. In other words, it would seem there had been a lot of practice or precursor work.
Absolutely. You can't just put these together in a day. There's training, there's purchase of materials. So, to the extent that he seems to have come out of nowhere, no one seems to have any hint that this was about to happen. There were activities that he did to clearly be able to purchase the explosive materials. And that's the question of, are there others involved? I will say one thing that those of us who've been looking at these school shootings for a while that has been troublesome and disconcerting is very similar to what happened to terrorist organizations in which they had to keep upping the ante because you can't just be a terrorist, right? And so, in other words, that's what led to Al-Qaeda using 4 airplanes. In the school shooting instance, you're not seeing now just school shootings. You've now seen at least one person now try to ratchet up to say, I'm not just a school shooter, I'm something bigger, whatever it is that motivated him. So that's disconcerting.
Extremely disconcerting. Thank you both.